Everyone has gifts. Everyone has talents. And one way to see this is the innate counterbalances that occur intergenerationally around cultural pendulum swings. So you'll see it, for example, if the pendulum is way over here and the cult is obsessing with money. You'll often see, for example, the children of billionaires hanging out with homeless people and hippies, because that's the other side of the pendulum swing. Now, the reason for this pendulum swing is that grace lies at the point of balance. So whenever you move to the extreme to the one side, you can think of it like a step. If you're really leaning this way to take a step, then you need to lean hard the other way to keep moving. And so this is the way that the evolutionary walk occurs, is moving between these extremes. Now, if this is trusted, now why trust life? Well, over 24 billion years, life has taken a massive energy, this big according to our scientists, and after 24 billion years, with infinity in front of us, life has created the multiverse, the universe, the galaxy, the solar system, this planet, and billions upon billions of successful life forms on this planet alone, with over 1 billion life-potentiated planets that we know about already, right? So not bad for life. That's a pretty good track record. And so the predispositions in this pendulum swing emerge in each of us as individuals. Each of us discovers that we're really good at something. And as life would have it, that thing that we're really good at is a counterswing to the environment, the toxicities, the imbalances of the environment that we're born into. It's a counterswing. We are the medicine of the dysfunctional cult. Now, if you trust life, it's not a bad return on investment, is it? Going from less than the size of a pea to all of this. And what will life do in the next trillion years, right? It's gotten us here in 24 billion. But life is not on a deadline, right? It's not like life has to get to transcendent human beings by 2021, or, oh dear, life has run out of time. No, life has another trillion years in front of it. So if we don't figure it out, don't worry, life will figure it out with another species in the future. But if we want to be a part of life, we can understand and trust that if life has given us a gift, a talent, that gift is particularly medicinal. Now, in self-referential, dogmatic, fear-based cults, the medicine is the most feared thing. You can look at psychedelics, for example. Dogmatic, fear-based cults, in this case the Nixon administration, terrified Timothy Leary, some professor who thought feeling good would be a good idea, the most dangerous person in America. Now, one can argue that Timothy was by no means the best leader into transcendent states, but the most dangerous person in America? Someone that suggests going inside and getting high? It doesn't compute unless you're terrified of change, unless you're terrified of the unknown. And so in fear-based, shame-based cults and families, the medicinal child, the medicine, is terrified. is terrifying to the shame-based parents and cult members, but it is the most healing. And so this comes to the importance of understanding the science of identity, because identity is a garment. It is a pattern of thinking, feeling, speaking, doing, and being that delivers a yield. It is not the essential self. It is a garment of the essential self. But when you have lost the essential self and lost your relationship with the essential self, then you believe that the clothing is the human being. And so you protect and you try not to change the clothing. Because that's me. I don't want to change my clothes. That's me. And this is, the trap that we're in, that a community like this has the opportunity to explore, if not murdered by a fear-based cult, because there are more than 1,000 laws in Marin County, California, where I live. There are more than 1,000 laws that make everything we're talking about here illegal, and that is not accidental. Because everything we're talking about here is intelligent change, intelligent healing, intelligent transformation. Of what? The dis-ease, the sickness of the cult. But if you believe you are the sickness, you are the dis-ease, you are the cult, then you believe you're being threatened. Your identity is being threatened, that you identify with. And it doesn't matter if it's superior. It doesn't matter if it's more enjoyable. What matters is it's not me that I identify with. And so, in this dimension and work here within the community, the focus is on trusting life to deliver children, to deliver members of the community that have within them concentrations of talent and ability, number one, that are medicinal, number two, to the status quo, number three, and will bring about ease and well-being to develop and bring out valuably into the community. And so the protocol is not, you got to do this whether you like it or not. The protocol is around noticing, wow, you are an incredible listener. You're an incredible articulator of difficult equations. When everyone in the community is listening for unusual abilities in a person, number one, voicing those on the app, number two, and when a person has a chance to say, you know what, if I could design my ideal cult, and two, play my optimum role within that cult, three, this is what it would look like, and here's what it would feel like, and this is what I think the benefits would be for me. And when you have people interested in that, the single most important thing one could be interested in, what is life trying to do through me? Because life is more successful, more intelligent than any human ego. The ego is a partition within life. Now, the good news is it's a fractal partition, meaning when you reproduce a pattern at a smaller scale, you create a lot more, you create a lot of the essential ingredients. And life is a winner. Life wins every single time. So it's wonderful that we're fractals of life in a certain way. But the illusion of separation from life is where a lot of the dis-ease comes in. First of all, loneliness. How could you be lonely if you were aware of one's interconnectivity? You couldn't. It is the illusion of partition the pretense that we have nothing to do with everything and everyone around us, that gives birth to loneliness, that gives birth to sociopathic behavior, that gives birth to isolation, to fear of the larger ecology that we're a part of. So there's a tremendous amount of problems with this separation. But there's also, it is largely as fractal pieces of life. We've got a lot of the divine of life within us. But we also have that fear, and the structures of the cults around us use that fear to alienate us further from the life that is within us, to trust the cult that is without of us, outside of us. So there is definitely, some mucky terrain in here. But if we can bring the gifts that are given by life to each individual powerfully and potently out into community, we can have a wealth that is 1,000 times greater than we have right now. We can have a sense of abundance that is 100 times more potent than the dry, the thin, dry diet. It's like eating crusts of bread and water instead of the rich cacophony, the rich symphony of beauty, truth, and goodness in one magnificent recipe of uniqueness after another. So that's really what this dimension is about. And, I am a cult member of America, and I've been at the Findhorn community in Scotland. I've been at Waldorf schools. I've been at hippie communities and hot tubs and done $150,000 of therapies and healings and talked with thousands of cult members. No individual, not one time, in the entirety of the American and Western cult has a single person asked me, Dane, what is it that you want to give birth to? What is it that wants to emerge out of you, number one, that is unique to you, number two, and could bring extraordinary joy to you and value to other people? That is one of the single most important questions, the single most intelligent questions that one individual can ask another individual. And the fact that no one, not a parent, not a teacher, not a client, not a lover, not a therapist, not a healer, not a government, not a teacher, that no one has ever asked this is an astonishing testament to the unconscious cruelty and willful blindness of our cult. Because every child deserves, and we deserve the people who come out of that question and are supported to bring it forth. We deserve to have people living their talent. What we get is what we're willing to have, which is the depressed mediocrity of denied and trampled gifts by a willfully ignorant cult that is so dumb that it cannot begin to grasp its own stupidity or its own cruelty, because all it's focusing on is this is what we know, this is what we have, and we don't want to face the unknown, and what we have is better than nothing. And that's all true. It's just less than 1% of what we deserve and could easily have with a little bit more competence. And that's what this dimension, this ritual, this protocol is all about.